Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. We're talking about WWE and the huge Friday Night Smackdown that's going to be taking place on Fox Television. This is going to be a big show, and probably the biggest name to be involved with WWE, past, present, or future, is The Rock. And The Rock has made it known that he will be making an appearance on Friday Night Smackdown. Ever since it was first announced that WWE would be taking their show to Fox, it was kind of that running rumor that everybody was running with, basically saying that if WWE is going to be going to Fox, the biggest name that they could put out there to make people tune in is The Rock. The Rock definitely, when it comes down to wrestling history, he is looked at as a lot of people's favorite wrestler to ever be involved with wrestling. He's a huge movie star. He's got Ballers on HBO, where they're doing the last season right now, where they're currently pushing it farther than it's ever been pushed before, and the stakes are always higher. The Rock's the man, and I'm glad The Rock is going to be there. I think that anytime The Rock is involved with anything in wrestling, people are always going to be, they do this with everybody. It doesn't matter who it is: Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, anybody that was ever involved with wrestling at one point. As soon as people start to get away from it, and they even try to get their foot close to being involved with wrestling again, people always want to know when they're going to wrestle again. In my heart of hearts, I honestly wish that they would set something up for The Rock to have a match at a WrestleMania. The last time The Rock had a match at WrestleMania, it was WrestleMania 32. He wrestled Eric Rowan. The match was honestly 3 seconds long. They had a face-off. He hit a rock bottom. They counted the three. Basically, Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper were standing there at ringside. They didn't even have a chance to break up the count. They were so shocked to see what happened. But The Rock was supposed to have a match against Triple H at WrestleMania 32. It's been widely reported. WWE has done, stories where they've talked about it. The match was supposed to take place. It was supposed to be the marquee match to make people want to buy WrestleMania. The Rock versus Triple H was the biggest match that WWE thought that they could put on for WrestleMania 32. Honestly, in my mind, that would be a good supporting match. Triple H did a good job in the main event. But when you look back on WrestleMania 32, the hype it was supposed to have as being one of the biggest, WrestleMania, basically, it's supposed to be one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time, finally being in Dallas Stadium at AT&T. In Dallas, people have been hoping. I remember I did a video in 2010, and somebody asked me in a Q&A where I thought WrestleMania should go. And I said the biggest stadium there was in the United States at that time was Dallas Cowboys Stadium. AT&T is probably the marquee place to put it there. But you have to take that risk of, trying to be able to put 100,000 fans in there. And what if they don't show up? You have to do that kind of Field of Dreams thing. And, they did it. I think it was, I can't remember, 100 and... If I had to guess, I think they announced 103,000. Could be wrong by a little bit, but definitely The Rock being announced to being a part of that. I think that he didn't really get officially announced until that last 2-3 weeks, but I think everybody knew he was going to be there. The Rock, I'm guessing that he's just going to do a promo. He's just going to come out. He's going to give some sort of heartfelt, NXT get its butt kicked by AEW, but we're going to get back into it. We're going to push this to newer heights. He never believed that the show that was named after him, that debuted on the UPN back in 2000, was going to push it this far to still be on TV 19 years later, being on one of the marquee networks in the United States. He's going to do the If You Can Smell What The Rock Is Cooking. But I don't really know. I mean, definitely they've been pushing for something between Elias and The Rock for a little bit. I don't know when that was supposed to happen, but you can definitely tell that they don't have guys like Elias calling out The Rock for no reason. So it definitely was supposed to go somewhere, and it never really did. I don't know if that's the direction you go. Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be on the show. Stone Cold Steve Austin currently just did an interview where he said he thought he could have another match. It's just being able to have a match that people are going to care about. The Rock versus Triple H, the end-all, be-all match. I think that even at this age, people would want to see that. That's probably one of the hottest matches you could do. Definitely Stone Cold Steve Austin lost his last match to The Rock at WrestleMania 19. Him wanting to get that win back and end his career on a high note. We all know that what WrestleMania 17 meant to Stone Cold Steve Austin, where he basically said he needed this belt, he needed this win, because he was at a rough point in his career. Him being able to say that he wants to end his career on a high note, you got to beat a guy like The Rock, and The Rock's not just going to walk in there and lay down and take it. So The Rock's going to want to get a win, because if he beats Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania, it evens their WrestleMania matchups to 2 wins apiece. But even at that point, you got to be, A, do you really see The Rock losing a WrestleMania match? B, wrestling fans as a whole, you even that up at 2-2. Now all we're thinking is, when are they going to do Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock again, so we can have the best of 5 matches figured out and decide really who is the best of the 2. So you don't really know where to go from there. So I think The Rock is just on this show, and it's going to be a while before we see The Rock again. Maybe The Rock shows up at WrestleMania, but I have no thoughts of Rock showing up at the Royal Rumble. He's not going to be a competitor at the Royal Rumble. He's not going to congratulate Roman Reigns. He's not going to screw Roman Reigns and do Roman Reigns versus The Rock. That could be a matchup, but I really honestly don't think that WWE would ever put a match between Roman and The Rock together. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think they like pushing those guys as family. They like pushing those guys as, the same bloodline. They're both big stars. That's the reason why they're stars. And I think that's the direction that WWE wants to go. So we'll see what happens. The Rock on SmackDown Friday.